smiley face. I'm just want you to like, I don't know, ask me
Okay.
about things,
All
and
right.
then you just tell me what you've been doing. I don't know.
Well, I want you to ask me about things.
All right,
Not ish. If not, just let me ramble. That's if that's cool.
all
But
right. Well, I'll start with this then. It's been. So the last time we recorded was what, 2 weeks ago?
probably yeah.
Actually, it was like 13 days ago on the 10th because it was the day that Cyberpunk had come out, and
Right.
I
So I've given you
I
loads of time
I had
to.
played it like a few hours at that point, right?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I genuinely can't remember what we
Yeah.
even
You
spoke
played it
about.
for I want to say 5 6 hours
Okay,
maybe,
okay,
maybe a little bit less than that.
yeah. And I think I spoke to you during the week about how I'd been playing it, not as much, but primarily just because I hadn't really been feeling like excited necessarily. Like I was worried it was going to happen. I was like leading up to it, the week leading up to Cyberpunk. I was like, oh man, I really hope I don't like just become sad when the game comes out. And that's kind of what happened. And I think my brain wouldn't let me get excited because it like felt like if I got too excited about it, I'd like, I don't know, overhype it even while I was playing it. So my brain had to like keep me in check for a few days. And then once those few days were over, I finally started to actually like enjoy my time with Cyberpunk, which was quite nice. Actually, it took
Yeah.
about like for about 5 or 6 days of constant. I didn't actually. Weird. The first 5 or 6 days, I hardly played it at all. I maybe played it 4 or 5 hours a day, maybe. I think one day I might have only played it for like two or three because I just really wasn't enjoying playing it
So you had a
initially.
little bit of a factory reset on your
Kinda,
brain
yeah. I
kind of
think I
thing.
had. Yeah, I think I just had waited too long.
Yeah.
I guess was like part of it, and it just sort of like I was ready for it way before it came out. Like I was ready
Sure.
when it was supposed to come out. So like that hype had already been and gone, and I sort of lost it by the 10th of December. So I had to like regain it again, and it took a few days for it to come back. So that's what I did. Um,
So
yeah.
So you've been playing it pretty much sort of 10-hour days since,
No,
or
so
for about a
my
week, or
average my average play time on Odyssey was 10 hours a day for 10 days.
yeah.
My average play time on Valhalla was 7.5 hours, I think, over the span of about 11, no, 12 or 13 days.
Is this just you,
And
by the way, or is this are you tracking this somehow, or is
that's
this
I
just?
figured it out ages ago.
Oh, okay.
Um, why did you think I was just like calculating it in seconds in my head?
I thought it was like in the game. I thought the game was giving you
No,
like,
I know how long I've played it, and I also know how many days. So I just divide by how many, how long I've played it by how many days. And I've officially had the game 13 days now, almost 2 weeks.
right.
And I've probably averaged about 7 hours a day, probably. So
Okay.
13 divided by or times by seven. That's how many hours I've played the game, roughly. So it's
So you've played it
about
nearly 100
80
hours.
about 85 hours, right? Seven times
Okay.
10 is 70, and then add another 21. So 91 hours I've played so far.
I mean, I just want to ask a billion questions then.
I know. Well, I have like a billion answers depending on what you ask.
So have you rolled credits?
Yes, on my first playthrough I have. Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm
Oh
officially about
my
a quarter.
god.
I'm about a quarter of the way through on my second playthrough.
Oh my days. Okay,
And I
right.
haven't lost any enthusiasm for it either. I'm still like
Okay,
full steam ahead.
hold up then. Hold up. Let's break it down then. First playthrough is completed, like side quests included, or whatever you want to call them.
Every single side quest, yeah.
Wow. Have you got the
All I
platinum?
well, no,
Or
I
the,
haven't.
sorry, or
But
all the achievements?
do you want to know how many missions there are total, or should I just leave that?
No, leave that
Okay.
if that's
Well,
okay,
however many
please.
there are, I've done all those.
Okay.
I mean, bar like a few because there's only some that you can do depending on what life path you choose.
Okay.
So I think there's about three or four that you can't do on each playthrough because you've chosen that path or whatever.
But they're still the same number, right?
Yeah, still the same number total, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah, give
Okay.
or take like
Fine.
two or three, which is still fine. Yeah, max level, max street cred level, maxed out all my weapons and armor, like full armor, full damage. Like I can't die. It's basically a one-shot kill with all my weapons. Like it's pretty fun.
Okay.
I guess if I played that for too long, it'd probably get pretty boring. But I don't know.
So you've done
I've done
like
everything apart from all the achievements. Yeah,
so. Oh, let's leave achievements for now,
I'm not.
even though
Yeah,
I know
I don't really. I mean, the ones
what
I
ones are
haven't done
missing
are the different
exactly.
endings because there's multiple endings. So
Are they the only ones that are missing?
that and like a couple of ones that are like kill an enemy a certain way.
Do you think you'll get them naturally,
I mean,
or
if I took like 2 or 3 hours out of my day, I could probably finish those. Yeah.
did you try and go for any achievements specifically?
No. Well, two of them, but they're like they're not missable. But if I mean, technically they're in quotes missable. Like if you don't do a certain number of things, you'll miss out on it and have to start again. So yes, there's two
Okay, you can advise me on those before I
or three.
eventually play it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
recommend just following a guide on particular missions.
your
But
let's just go through your first playthrough first.
yeah,
Obviously,
Street Kid.
obviously. So tell me, Jay, first of all, to get this out of the way, your experience, and I know you're very nice. You're a very nice critic. So I don't want you being like, "Oh no, I still really enjoy." Like I just
No,
all I,
there's
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not trying to polish it. Look, what I'm trying to do, Jay, is
I
get
know what you're
through
trying to
the
get at. I know
rubbish.
what you're trying to
Okay,
get at.
I
Yeah.
trust your
Let's
opinion.
just wade through the stuff that's in the way to get to the good stuff
What no, what I'm saying is
to a degree.
like everyone's chatting about this game. I'm not sure whether it's a completely broken, buggy mess like a Bethesda Fallout 76, or is it a game with a few bugs that runs pretty well and at the core is incredible, or is it somewhere in between, or is it just the PS4, Xbox One versions that are pretty shit? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's pretty much just the previous generation versions that aren't any good.
So your version, you've probably encountered a few bugs, but
Yeah.
not too many.
So at the minute, there's one bug that I'm not necessarily a bug, but sort of like a flawed game design that I'm a little bit worried about.
Okay.
And they had this issue actually on Witcher 3, which is the reason why they had to make a new game plus, and that was because game save files have a maximum load bearing, I guess you could call it, of 8 MB, and if you exceed that load, your save will permanently corrupt.
Corrupt. Yeah.
It hasn't happened to me yet, but I'm surprised it hasn't, because the way you can overload such a thing is playing the game too long, and or playing the game too long and crafting too many weapons or
When you say play
armor.
too long, do you mean total gameplay time?
Yeah,
Okay.
like if you've collated a lot of items
Yeah.
and put them in
And
your
not
stash or put them in your inventory, and you just leave them there, and you constantly like you've got thousands of them, your game will eventually just corrupt and not work anymore.
wow. That's
Which
pretty
it has
terrible.
weird because it's happened to people who haven't actually finished the story yet, and it leads me to think, well, what could you have possibly done to have like I'm not joking. I've probably crafted over 1,000 weapons just to get my
Okay.
crafting level up, just to like I've made them and then disassembled them to get the resources back. Um, and yeah, I don't think I've even come close to getting 8 meg on my game file. But I have played on that particular game file. I've done like 75 plus hours on my first playthrough. So I'm concerned about, well, is it going to corrupt at 100? Is it going to corrupt at 200? Like where's the limit?
Oh, so is it the same save profile for your second playthrough?
Yeah. So it's weird on PC. I think you can have an indefinite number of save files, but on console you can only have 20. And I know why they
Okay.
do that. They do that for the same reason why the game crashes on Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4, which is because if you made more than 30 game save files, your game would just crash. So
Okay.
they've deliberately done that because the console can't handle more than a set number of game file saves. So
So you've used all 20.
yeah, I mean I've got that's the thing. All I've done is for my first playthrough I've got 10, and then for my second playthrough I've got 10, and I've just got to make
Okay.
sure that I don't override my first playthrough. So I'm having to like really make sure I save it, and there's like a are you sure you want to save over this? Like there's like a warning, so I have to like make sure that I don't accidentally go over it. But
Yeah.
I've made plenty of saves on my first playthrough that if one of them do corrupt, I've still got 75 hours plus game time
Right.
on like
I was
5
gonna.
different saves. So like, if even if
Yeah,
I
I was
do have
gonna.
go back, it won't be that far. It'll be like 10 minutes before where I was. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask you why have 10, why not have 3, which are just basically like
yeah,
all of
that's what
your
I've done.
kind of
Yeah, I think
current.
I've actually got
Okay.
5 that are all my current, and then the rest of them are
Right.
like way before,
Okay.
like
Fair
things that I
enough.
might want to go back and revisit or whatever.
Do you have any idea of whether you'll want to play a third playthrough at this point,
Yeah, I
or
was thinking about that because my first playthrough was supposed to be like a gun kind of thing. Second one is all melee based. Don't really know what I'm gonna do for the third one.
stealth? Is
Yeah,
that
it might be a mixture of like stealth and hacking probably
okay?
because I haven't actually touched either of those in my first 2 playthroughs.
So you've finished the game, Jay.
I have I've done every single mission, every single one.
That's that's pretty extraordinary. I'm talking to a Jay who's completed Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it's pretty substantial too. Like it's weird. So I think part of the reason why I didn't enjoy it so much when I first started playing was also because it was definitely a bit of a grower. Like I don't know if you've ever had that with a game before that just takes a little longer. Like
Oh, I
my
have.
my
Oh,
my
I have.
example for that is like albums. Like sometimes I've listened to an album 3 or 4 times before I even start to enjoy it. Like it's that kind of thing. I think part of that might have also been just like the fear of the unknown. Of like I was fearful of like, well, what if I mess up, kind of thing.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. The
but that
RPG
that kind
scare.
of like
Yeah.
that escaped pretty quick because I'm like basically a god at this point. I don't get fearful of anything anymore.
So what
I have
difficulty are
no
you
fear.
playing on?
Well, technically very hard, the hardest one. But I
How
did play. So what happened was I played my first playthrough up until level 40 on easy, and realised that I should have been max level by now. But because I hadn't played it on normal or harder, the amount of XP I got from it being on easy is significantly less than if you play it on a harder difficulty.
Oh, okay.
So I recommend you play it on normal. Don't play it on easy.
Okay.
It's not worth it because you'll get to like level 40 and be like, I should be max level by now. I've done everything.
How many difficulties are there?
For easy, normal, hard, very hard, and even on very hard, it's not that bad.
So you've switched it to very hard because you're maxed out character kind of thing.
Yeah, just so there's a bit more of a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah.
Instead of going up to people and just one-shotting them, it's more of like a two-shot instead.
And you're able to, without kind of spoiling some main gameplay elements, if that's okay,
Yeah.
you can you can kind of grind in this game, I guess.
Yeah, there are places where you can grind if you want to. Um,
Did you need to then, because you were finished
just on my
everything?
easy one, yeah, just when I played it
Yeah.
on easy and needed to go higher. What I did was there's like small missions that take you hardly any time to finish, and if you finish those on very hard, even at a low level, you'll get so much XP that it'll just bump you really quick. So that's what I did. Like I had loads of these like other side quest stuff things left over, and I thought, well, instead of leaving it on easy, I'll put it on very hard and go. I went from level 41 to 50 in like a couple of hours. So that wasn't too bad. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
But in terms of
how?
bugs and stuff, like
Yeah.
yeah, other than the save file one, which I haven't actually come across yet, yeah, there's been barely anything.
For you,
Yeah, like there's been I've had one T pose. I will say
my brother's found quite a lot of those
the
actually.
one
He's
that
on
comes up
PS5.
all the time, if a certain character has a cigarette in their mouth or a phone in their hand or a gun in their hand and they move, sometimes that gun, phone, or cigarette will just hover in the air. Um,
It
that
never
comes
gets
up.
old.
I get that like 5 times every couple of hours, maybe.
Right. Does it stay where it was
It does. It
when
just
you
stays where
first
it is.
see it?
Say let's get a character who's
Oh
smoking,
man.
and then they move
Yeah.
while they've still got the cigarette in their thing. It'll just like stay there, but then they'll sometimes either still have it in their mouth or they'll just be like nothing there anymore,
Right,
which isn't
right,
that
right.
bad. Like that sort of fixes itself in a couple seconds usually. What sometimes weirdly there's like lampposts or like uh, traffic lights that don't have a pole, but the light is still there, so it's just sort of hovering.
Oh,
But other than
interesting.
that, like barely anything.
Okay. So how
Nothing
long,
game breaking
Jay?
really.
Like, not. I don't want to know specifics.
Okay,
From start to finish, Goldilocks time, which
Goldilocks.
I assume you took your time on this game more than Odyssey, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't
I
speed run
wouldn't
it,
say.
but I didn't. Again, it's in the middle. I didn't go fast, didn't go
Yeah,
slow.
but okay. Were you skipping dialogue?
No,
Were you reading the
I am
dialogue
on
and
my
then
second
skipping it?
playthrough just because I know it all.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much know this game off by heart. It's weird. Like I know all the dialogue before it comes up. It's very strange. I literally
So
like there's multiple dialogue options that you don't need to press, but on my first playthrough I went through every single one,
yeah. Fine.
like
I did the
every
same thing with
single one,
Witcher. Yeah, that's fine.
just to know.
So
Like, there's a lot of history that you can miss if you just don't. If you just skip
yeah,
everything, you
yeah.
miss a lot.
So
So
on your second playthrough, are you selecting the dialogue options you didn't on your first playthrough?
no, because you can technically select all of the same ones.
Even like choices though, you know?
Um, Yeah, so if it comes up in a yellow text, it means you've got two choices or one, and if it comes up in a blue, it means that the conversation will continue, but you can then go back to the yellow one if it's still there. If that kind of makes
Yeah,
sense. There's
that's
like a
the
serious
Witcher.
one that like
Yeah.
carries on the rest of the conversation to the next dialogue, or there's blue ones that sort of like side dialogue that then
Sure,
brings
sure.
you back to the yellow option still. So
So let me rephrase then. Are you making different decisions on your second playthrough? RPG decisions, I guess you can call them.
no, because I deliberately chose the ones that I knew that would benefit me more. Like I have the guidebook, right? So if I saw a dialogue option that I knew that would potentially have different outcomes, I'd research what the two outcomes were, or potentially three or four, and I'd go right. I would rather do this one because it's more beneficial to me now, or in the future. So I think I'm
Okay.
always going to choose the same ones because they seem to be most beneficial to me.
So it's okay. Is there a morality system in this?
Not really.
No, okay. Only the impact that your decisions
You
have,
do
sort
have
of thing.
certain impacts on future dialogue depending on what your previous dialogue was. Sometimes, but I don't know. I didn't really notice it that much. Not really.
Okay. So okay, so going back to the original question,
Mm,
Goldilocks time.
yeah.
How long is this game, Jay?
Well, I did
Everything
everything
included.
in about 70 hours. Like everything, everything. I would say I definitely did the lot of the smaller side quest stuff very quickly, but only because I went and did it after I'd already reached max level, pretty much.
How much
So
side stuff did you do on the way of the main quest or
virtually
campaign?
none.
Really?
Um, okay, so there's main quests,
Yeah,
there's side jobs, there's
yeah,
gigs, and then
yeah.
there's like a subcategory. So there's actually like three or four different types. Actually, no, that's a lie. There's about five or six different types of side quests, and then there's the main quests.
Sure.
So I did all. I probably did um, in order of like most important. I probably did main quests first, then side jobs, then gigs, and then all the lower ones below that.
Okay.
So I left all the small stuff till after I'd already finished everything. Apart from that, actually, the last quest I did was the last main quest. So I
Oh,
deliberately
yeah,
left.
cool.
There's like a point of no return.
Yeah, my
I,
brother's
I
now at that.
deliberately
Yeah.
saved it before that, and then did everything, and then went and finished the game after I'd already done everything.
So if I may say so, Jay,
Yeah,
in a world where we've got Assassin's Creeds which are far too bloated, yeah, this game sounds like it's a very comprehensive and high quality 70-hour game. Is that what
yeah.
you
I feel like someone, if you're me or you, it's probably going to take you somewhere between 70 and 80 to do everything. But if you are a very casual gamer, it's probably going to take you like
40 or 50?
probably. I mean, depend. It could be longer. That depends on how much you want to play it. Like if you could speed run this game in 20 hours
Sure.
if you really wanted to, which is just like you wouldn't see anything. It'd be very boring. You'd miss out on like three quarters
Everything.
of it. You'd be only
Yeah.
playing about a quarter of the game, so it's not really worth
Yeah.
it. But I mean, it depends on what kind of gamer you are. If you're a casual gamer who still wants to do everything in the game, it's probably going to take you 80 plus. But if you're not a casual gamer and you still want to do everything, it's probably going to take you 70 plus. So
If I may say so, Jay, and I will keep saying that, this game is slightly shorter than I expected.
yeah, yeah. No, I was actually this is about right. I was actually thinking closer to 60.
Okay.
I was thinking 60 is probably what they're going to aim for. But that's if that's if you don't do everything. So I was
Yeah.
thinking it'd probably be more like 70 or 80 if you did do everything. So it's about right for me. I
And
felt
you feel
I don't know if
go
if
on.
it had lasted any longer, I probably would have got bored or anything, because I'm actually on my second and I'm obviously still enjoying it. So
I was
um,
going to ask, so you look like you're enjoying it. I can just tell that you're enjoying it.
mm.
You
So
just you
yeah,
seem
so
content.
there's an exploit to get to level 50 a lot quicker than usual. So that's what I've done on my second playthrough. First one was all natural, no exploits necessarily. There was a money glitch that I did where I thought,
No
yeah, I'll just get a load
safety
of money.
precautions, no
Um,
contraception,
no,
completely natural intercourse. Yeah.
natural. So on my second, I got to level 18, and then I did the glitch, and I'm now max level and max everything. So I'm at the point I'm about a quarter of the way through, but I'm maxed out everything.
So you've broke the game.
I don't know, just sort of sped run the unnecessary part of having to level up.
Sure. So they've sent out a hot fix, right? And
Two hot
they've got
fixes,
okay, but they've got some
1.04 and 1.05. It was primarily just to fix bugs in missions not finishing, or like missions bugging out halfway through, which didn't actually happen to me at all. So
mission critical bugs almost kind of thing. And then they're bringing out massive fixes in January and Feb next year, right? That should
yeah,
hopefully
ones that hopefully should just smooth out a lot of.
the issues.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that from the start, I didn't think the game looked very good when I started playing it initially. But the longer I've played it, the more I actually started to appreciate it for what it is. Like if this game had if this quality had come out with Fallout 3, there's no way we would have been complaining. Not even in the slightest. Like I feel like this is what everyone who played Fallout 3 wanted Fallout 3 to be in terms of like graphics.
Do you mean 4 or 3?
3.
Okay.
Like if I mean even 4, I guess too. You could say both. 4 was obviously a massive improvement, but I think at the end of the day, this game is basically like a Fallout game, just like much better, depending on what you class as better, right?
Yeah, and
Just
what
like an
you like.
improvement.
Yeah.
Like it's in the same sort of vein of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, just being an improvement visually and potentially mechanically on previous iterations, and so on and so on. Just how the same way Ghost is like a better visually and mechanically version of previous other Assassin's Creed
Open
games,
world. Yeah,
or just
yeah.
open world games in general. It's just it's an evolution. That's all it really is. It's a progression. It's an evolution of previous things. We've got to get there somehow. You don't want to just jump way too far, because if you jump too far, things like this can happen with cyber, where it's not ready because you aim too high. I don't necessarily think they aim too high. I just think they aim slightly higher than they probably should have done. I think if they had potentially, I don't know. It's hard because I feel like once this major update comes out for next gen, I think we won't be complaining as much. I think it'll all probably be fine. It'll be sorted out. But I have no issue with it at all. I will happily play it until it's run to the ground.
Is there any word on when the optimized versions will come out yet?
I'm hoping within the first 3 or 4 months of next year. Although it's probably more likely to be summer.
Mm,
I
yeah.
reckon these January, February updates will probably be more just like smoothing a couple things over. But we'll wait and see. I was kind of glad when I saw that yellow background with the black text. I was like, bugger, what are they going to say? Everyone's terrified of that bloody thing. It's become a meme now. But then once
Yeah.
I read it, it was actually kind of good news. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was very surprised that Sony bloody pulled it though from the store.
So I assume the assumption was, oh, this is too broken, we're gonna have to pull it, or there's too many refunds coming in,
Yeah,
so
I
we're gonna
think it
have
was
to
more
pull
about the
it.
refund. They didn't want people to like buy it and have to then realize, and they just want people to not have to realize how bad it was for them. Thing is, I think ultimately, if you're a person who bought this game on previous generation, it's your fault. It's not CDPR's fault to an extent. Like, yes, they're being sued right now for misadvertising or whatever. But again, like you shouldn't trust the corporation, which is what you should learn by playing Cyberpunk. Don't trust the corporations.
Interesting.
Yeah, don't trust what anyone who makes that much money says.
Well, if it helps, I would have considered CD Projekt Red up there with the most trustworthy developers
Oh yeah,
alongside in terms of like trusting the product they make.
hmm
Now obviously they've lost that now,
to an
but
extent, yeah,
yeah.
it'll be fine. This hasn't. This I
I
don't
hear
think
what
this
you're
has taken that much of
saying,
a dent.
but what I would say, Jay, is that any game that broken is not acceptable.
Yeah, no, I think it
Would I
kind of
get a
is. I mean,
re?
it depends, right? Like if you really thought that you were going to be able to play this game on previous generations and it looked good, you're an idiot.
No, but it's not about. It's not even about looking good. It's about looking like it should. You know.
I mean,
Like
I
I'm
don't.
sure there's thousands of people out there who bought into the hype. They didn't even know this game was an RPG. They've bought it and they've gone, "Oh my god, it's fucking broke. I want a refund." And like even if you include refunds, from what I can tell, the game still sold about 12 to 14 million copies, so it ain't hurting them.
Yeah, so it was 8 million on pre-orders, and then it was
Yeah.
13 million including refunds.
Yes.
So it
So
was
it's
potentially more than
massive.
that. They've already
Yeah.
made their money back just on pre-orders.
Yes. 100%.
Before the game had even launched, those 8 years had already been bought and paid for. It's insane.
That is insane.
So to me, as long as they fix and give us an optimized version, then I'm happy. Like I'm willing to wait.
Yeah. Yeah. So here comes the hard and fast questions, Jay.
Mm,
What were your opinions of the main campaign? Did you like it?
yeah.
You,
Continue. Yeah, go on.
well, I was just gonna say, yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah,
Can you compare it to, the storytelling, the characters of other said open world games you've played recently, perhaps?
no, I feel like it's fairly unique. I don't know what else I could. I genuinely don't know what I can compare it to. Especially since I haven't experienced all of the endings yet.
Hmm.
So there's definitely some other things I can experience still, which is partly why I'm actually playing the second playthrough. I'm deliberately doing one ending per playthrough, even though there's four. So I'm going to do my fourth ending on my first playthrough because I'm going to go back and redo it. Um,
Can you do all four endings on one playthrough?
no, I'd say you have. Well, technically, yes. Yes, you can. Technically, yes,
But
yes,
you
yes.
have to save in the right
Save in the
places,
right
or
place. Yes. Save in
okay.
one place, and you can just diverge into four different branches from there.
How far is that from the end point? This branching to four different.
2 hours, maybe,
Oh, it's not too bad then.
if that. 2 hours ish. Yeah,
And how did the gunplay stack up after a few hours of working with it?
yeah, really well. It was very jarring initially.
Okay.
It was so strange, but I can headshot everyone pretty much from a mile away just with a
Right.
pistol without even aiming. I can just be like, yep, bang, 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 all dead. Yep, cool.
Right. Okay.
There is a
So,
lot of aim assist, I will say that, so that's probably why.
th- but what's the story
In
like?
Balamori, wouldn't you like to know?
What's the story
In
like? Like,
Balamori,
is it is it good?
it is
Like,
really good. I really enjoyed it. Yes. I obviously know a lot about the lore of Cyberpunk, and I feel like if you know more about Cyberpunk Red and Cyberpunk 2013 and Cyberpunk 2020, then you're probably going to enjoy it more. But if you don't know any of that stuff, you're still going to enjoy it. So it's weird. Like there's characters in this game where if you don't know the previous history, you'll be like, who the hell is this person? Like it's weird. Like if you know the history of it, everything is just so much more like significant and elevated. It's strange. Like it's they don't really tell you. They don't in classic RPG fashion. They don't tell you anything. Not really.
so
It's
they
a
don't
lot
tell
of
you
information is inferred. Is that the right word?
is
Inferred?
there not a codex or something?
No, not really.
In game, there's not like oh, this is this character and this is that character.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah. 90 hours. Yeah, I think so. Like
Have
how
you played this game
there's a
enough?
codex in AC Valhalla, but there isn't in
Right.
this.
Okay. Fuck, that's scary.
I mean, the game, even though the game doesn't really tell you anything about the history of the characters, it tells you enough to know about what's going on once you get to the end. Like once you get to the end, you still know what's going on. As long as you've listened to the
Mm,
dialogue, you should know exactly who everybody is. Apart from maybe like 7 or 8 characters who are exclusively part of the cyberpunk lore,
okay.
like Thompson and a few other people.
And I know this is hard for you because you're in the middle of it, literally.
Am I? Middle of what?
But can you give me your general impressions of this game, Jay? Like,
What would I give it out of 10?
Well, nah, let's not go there. But
Okay.
how are you
Ten
feeling about it at
impressions.
the moment
Yeah, so
compared
I'm
to the likes of Borderlands 3, Ghost of
oh,
Tsushima?
sure, 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 sure.
Like give me your real. Like you've completed it, you spent quite a lot of time with it. I want to really know how much you like this game, kind of thing.
It's very hard to sort of like fathom the like I've been everywhere, but also nowhere. Like kind of right. Like there's still so much I haven't seen of this game that I reckon I could literally play this game for 1,000 hours and still have technically not seen everything. Like maybe like if I went like I if you literally put the map and I went from corner to corner to corner to corner and went gradually in and in and in and in and in until I got to the center. Like it would take me a long time, and I'd obviously eventually see everything. Yeah, I feel like I couldn't do that kind of thing unless I deliberately did it that way. And I don't necessarily think you need to see everything to enjoy it or to appreciate it for what it is. I think knowing that there's still so much more out there for me to see just makes me excited to be like it's just there, it exists. It's this sandbox of so much potential and verticality and depth, and you can go so far underneath and so far in the sky and all sorts of stuff. There's still so much that I know I haven't seen that I've seen in the book to be like, oh, I can't wait till I get there. Like a minute ago, I was trying to look for some armor pieces that I was in a place that I'd never knew existed until I checked. I was like, oh, that place exists. Cool. Like I hadn't actually
Wow.
been to this section of the map yet, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what it looks like. Cool.
So you didn't need those armor pieces in the previous playthrough?
No, like there's so many to go for.
Right, okay.
This particular armor piece was like a legendary one, and it only spawns once you obviously get to that point. So I had to just like go and find it basically. Yeah, you can
S-
miss a lot by not doing things, but you can also see a lot by doing um, a lot too. Like there's definitely a lot of things that I was lucky to not miss, and if I had, I probably would have started from the start again. So I'm very lucky in some instances. But yeah,
So what are your overall impressions then?
it's kind of hard. Like it really is hard. It's like it's so it's ex- I can think of this game as extremely vast and extremely narrow at the same time. Like depending on how you look at it and what angle you come at it from, it can either be extremely short and kind of like linear and I mean I feel like it's just like a game that you can play 1,000 different ways. Like you can play it extremely narrow and quickly, or extremely broadly and slowly. It just depends on how narrow you want your sight to be, or how long you want your journey to be. It's whatever you want it to be. So yeah, I really enjoy it. It's probably in my top 10 of all time at the minute, but I feel like it's going to evolve over time. A lot like how Oblivion evolved over time for me, a lot like how Skyrim did, a lot like how all the Fallout did. Like I've played Fallout multiple times over a decade, and it's been not vastly different each time, but different enough for me to still be like, oh, there's still so much from it, to do. So yeah, no, I love it. It's great. I don't know. I think I maybe potentially had a different idea in my head on certain things, but overall, yeah, I'm very happy with how it's played out. I love like for me, a lot of it is to do with the story. Really, is it's quite emotional. I definitely cried at one in particular bit, which was weird because it was very early in the game. I was like, why do I care about this part of the story? I've hardly played this game. I played it for like 9 hours, and I was already crying over a character I had hardly any time with. But it was good. No, I think the one thing we spoke about, I think in maybe Borderlands or no, it was Odyssey, was the characters and how important they seemed and how uh, they had a lot of dialogue that made you fall in love with them and that they had a lot of history to them. There's definitely a lot of that in this game. Like there's very very memorable characters and there's a hell of a lot of them. There's way more than in Odyssey. Way more. Like in Odyssey there was what maybe like 6 or 7 characters that were
Yeah,
memorable. The other was like the little girl
yeah.
Phoebe and Socrates and a number of other people. But
Uh,
in
Barnabas.
yeah, Barnabas, and in this there's like way more than 10, way
Yeah,
more than 10. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. I can't wait for you to play it. I'm very I'm looking forward to what you think. I think this will be one of those games that just sort of exists and you're just happy that it does. More
Mm.
than like there's no sort of like hit of like, oh, this game's so good. It's more of like a like taking a pill and just sort of waiting for it to kick in, and then just sort of like slowly kind of like you sort of ride that high for a bit. It's not an instant hit. It's more
I
of a
like that answer because the older I get, the more that applies to almost every game I
yeah.
play.
You
Where
want
I'm
it to
like,
last.
yeah,
You don't
like
you don't want to like I guess I'll use an example of like alcohol. You don't want to like take a sip of alcohol, it hit you right away, last 30 seconds, and then go away. Like I guess you kind of do, but some people want it to sort of last a long time, right? They want to sort of ride that
yeah,
buzz, that like very particular. So it's that kind of thing. You just kind of want to ride the buzz.
yeah, like the more the games that I play at the moment, it's like I'll finish it and then someone will be like, "Oh, so what do you think?" I'm like, "Ask me in 5 months and I can tell you,"
Yeah,
because
like
you just need it to kind of
I think that's kind of what I did
reflect and
with Ghost, right? And maybe even Odyssey, because I remember it took you an extra month or two after I finished it for us to actually talk about it in depth.
if not longer.
If
Yeah.
I think it might have been three. Um, and for me, it was a lot easier to talk about it months after than it would have been, I think, right after. So yeah, I think I just needs time to gestate at this point. I don't know. I'm just very happy it exists. I can
Do you think
definitely
there's
see myself getting potentially bored of it in the next maybe month or so. But
sure?
it just depends on what I feel really and what else is out there. I don't know.
Dude, it's interesting for me because, in my mind, I've got these huge, colossal games, Valhalla and Cyberpunk, waiting to be
Yeah, you've
played, and
got so much to do.
you've already finished them before the new year, and I'm like, oh man, I'm envious of that because your back catalogue is going to be so, and don't
Thin?
feel
Yeah, I know.
it's
No,
going to be
I
clear,
mean,
it's going to be ready to
yeah. Do
go.
you know what's so good about it being clear is that I can actually spend time watching TV shows if I want to now, and movies that I've missed out on in the last 3 or 4 months.
True that,
That's my plan.
and you
Gonna be
haven't
watching a hell
got
of a lot of anime, hopefully.
And we haven't yet got that, the next Cyberpunk thing, which is like, I can't wait to get my hands
I
on
think,
this.
yeah, Outsiders or Out is it Outsiders. I think is potentially
Out.
my
Well,
next
the fact you can't remember the name, I think suggests you're not quite as
Outriders.
excited about
Do you
Cyberpunk
want to know why I'm getting confused? Is because there's a TV show,
called
a
Outsiders.
film. Actually, no, that's a lie. There's two TV shows, a film, and a game coming out with I think with the same name, but I cannot remember if they're all Outsiders or Outriders. I don't
I
know
think
why.
the
Do
game is
you
Outriders, I
want to know
think.
what is right? So the other thing, do you remember the Cornetto trilogy movie, the
Yeah,
last one,
yeah, The World's End.
right? So that came out the same year
Yeah.
that that apocalyptic movie with Seth Rogen
This is the end.
yeah, that came out at the same time. I could never remember what the bloody name for either of them were. So what? So one's called At World's End, and the other one's called This Is the End.
No, no, that's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh God, see, this is my issue, dude.
The Cornetto one is The World's End.
Right, so At World's
And
End, The World's End, This Is the End.
correct.
See, they're all
Correct.
too similar. They all came out within like this, like 2 or 3 years of each other. It's so
To
annoying.
be fair, I do think At World's End came out no, no, I don't forget
I
it,
know
forget it
that the
anyway.
the two big movies other than Caribbean came out the same year. I think Caribbean came out year
Yeah, I think
before.
you're right about that. I think you're right about that.
Bloody nuisance. Ah. So
So,
yes,
that's good to
potentially
hear,
Dirt
mate.
5 for me too, but I still don't know if I want to play it yet.
I'm
Actually,
I'm
I think it got a 9,
what's that, sorry?
an 8 or a 9. Dirt 5 didn't it get an 8? It got an 8,
I think it got an 8,
which is
but I
good.
didn't tell you.
It's good for a
R
Dirt game.
Yeah, really good.
Man, that's good.
I should
I'm
tell
so
you,
happy with
Jay, it's not on the news, but we're gonna talk about it right now. EA outbid Take-Two to
They
buy
did. I saw
Codemasters.
that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm happy about that. I mean, I'm kind of guess I
Yeah,
am.
I would be very worried if I was you, if
I guess
EA
it is
got that
EA,
company.
but I don't know.
Dirt's coming every year. No, I mean, like,
I'm not,
I would
if
be
anything,
worried.
it probably means better because it probably means that Codemasters are going to have a much larger budget.
True, but like FIFA has not been doing well lately, as an example.
Same with COD, I guess. It's just the same thing regurgitated, really, isn't it?
Well, that's Activision, but I hear you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Just like games in general that come out every year
Yeah,
that are the same.
yeah, yeah.
I guess you could put AC in that, but I feel like they're varied. They're the variety is different enough for you to be like, oh, this makes sense that they're
I mean,
different.
I would think so. It's funny, mate. You seem to have literally just gone cold on Cold War, and that's it.
Yep, no, I think COD's dead for me.
Just like that.
It's
Just
gone.
like that. You
It's
had
a
the
waste of
alpha.
money.
You were excited. It's like, no, I don't want to buy it. I don't want to buy
No,
it.
I didn't really enjoy the alpha that much. Actually, one thing I do want to say about Cyber really quick is that it's definitely not 60 frames constant. I think I might have already said that last. Did I say that last week? I did say that.
I don't
I don't
think
know.
so.
I don't know if I've definitely said it to my dad. That's probably why I'm getting confused. But yeah, it's definitely not a 60 frame constant at the moment. I think it will be once the Series X uh, version comes
Version.
out. Yeah.
I've got to be honest with you, Jay. I didn't expect that game to run at
Thing is, it
60.
doesn't go any lower than 55 frames. So,
How do you know?
because I've seen the tests online
Oh, okay.
of the
On
Series
Series
X
X, obviously.
version. Yeah,
Yeah,
Series
yeah,
X
yeah.
version, I think is 60 like 60% of the time, and then 40% of the time it's like 55 or above. Like it
Can you
sort of
tell when it
fluctuates.
dips?
Yeah, it's
Right.
minimal, but it's usually when you're either in combat or you've moved very quickly into a new area, like in a vehicle or something. Like if you're going very fast into a new area, it has to load it all suddenly. It will then
Yeah.
slightly, the frame rate will dip a little bit. And the same when you get into a combat, there'll all of a sudden be a lot of people shooting at you, so a lot of bullets flying everywhere, and then it'll slow somewhat. So
And what
not a
about
bit
the
too
load
bad though.
times?
Yeah, super quick,
Great.
3 or 4 seconds. I think max maybe 7 or 8.
That's good to know. That's good to know. How's your dad finding it?
He hasn't played it very much, but he's definitely enjoying it. Yeah, I'll let you
Oh,
know
I
once he
worry
finishes
about
it.
that. I worry about that. Has he got the conviction to finish a 60-hour game when he's got 5 games on the
70-hour
go?
game. That's
Oh
the
my
point.
day.
Yeah, I don't know. He'll play it when he plays it. I guess
Fair enough. Fair
he'll
enough.
get there. He'll get there.
One last thing, Jay, before we stop for a toilet break. I see you want to talk about the fact it broke Steam concurrent users, perhaps?
Yeah. Did I put a thing on
Yeah,
here?
24 million.
Yeah, 24 million people on Steam, which was it beat the record for most concurrent users, which is kind of insane to me.
Because
Because
this is the game to do it, or
no, it just means that even though that we know it sold 13 million, it must have sold more if 24 million people were playing it at one time.
No, mate. I think that means people on Steam
Oh, okay. Really?
is what I got from it.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I might have to double check it. Oh, okay, so it was 1 million players at one time over a 24-hour period.
Yeah.
Right, okay, that makes more sense. I was like, yeah, that I can't imagine there being 24 million people individually. So what it meant was there was a constant over 1 million people playing it over a 24-hour period.
By the way, that's really cool. Like, when you're playing a new game and you know that everyone else is playing it,
At
like that's
least a
just
million
cool.
other people, yeah, at least.
Yeah,
Although we would have said 8 million because it sold 8 million
true.
on pre-orders. So
Pre-orders. But do you know what, Jay? That's actually opposite to our mentality of, oh, this is my game and my secret and nobody else knows. Like that's an opposite mentality of, oh, everyone knows about this game and everyone's playing it, but I like that. Like
yeah,
rather than the,
I did
oh,
think about that in the shower actually.
okay,
I was
yeah,
like, is this game mine or is it 13 other million people's as well?
right, right, right.
I don't think I need to hold it anywhere near to me like how I have done with other games. Not necessarily. I'm kind of glad that there's a lot of other people also enjoying it because I can imagine this game has been played 13 plus million different ways at this point. So like you can play this game in pretty much any order you want too. Like there's literally like trillions and trillions of variations you can play this game in. There's so many variables, it's insane. So yeah, I'm sure no two
Yeah.
people have had exactly the same experience. Oh, I was
Okay,
going to
mate.
say,
Yeah.
Cyberpunk has probably some of the best references and Easter eggs I've ever come across, including Valhalla as well. Valhalla had some good ones, but this had some also amazing ones. So I was like, oh my god, did they seriously just reference that? Like you have to be, it's like a die-hard fan of like this particular reference to even know that
Yeah, yeah.
exists. Like it was just so like someone had a lot of fun at CD Projekt Red making those references. Honestly, they had so much fun with that shit.
To like general pop culture.
Pop culture, if you're like in the know, yeah,
Okay, because another game that reminds me of that is a game called Guacamelee.
yeah, I played that.
That dude, the references in that, like, they have speech bubbles when they talk, and
Hmm.
when they came out with certain sentences, I was like, "Oh, that is literally the same." I was like, "There's no way," because it's so like the Star Wars references are so specific. You're like, "Oh my god, you are in my mind," because only I would know that.
Exactly. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
definitely quite a few like that, but I haven't found any Star Wars ones yet, or like Harry Potter ones, which usually come across. But no one's a Star
yeah.
Wars or a Harry Potter fan at CD Projekt Red. I say
Oh,
they're
shots
all
fired.
anime fans. It seems
Right. Okay.
like.
Interesting. Well, they are making an
Oh,
anime, aren't they? Well,
they
you know,
are. They are
working with.
making one for 2022. Yeah, that should be good. But I can't believe they got Studio Trigger for that. It's insane. Jeez, it's one of the best in my eyes. One of the best anime studios of all time.
Well, we'll
Studio
quickly
Trigger,
talk
man.
about Valhalla, mate. It
Yeah.
looks like they're starting to fix the game, I guess.
Yeah, no,
Is
I
how
saw
to phrase
they've
it.
got a festival like a Christmas festival event on at the minute, which I haven't really bothered to look into. Not
Will
really.
Will you check that out?
Probably not.
What does it add? Like a couple of quests or
I think it
something?
just makes your town like really Christmassy.
Oh, that's cool. I want that.
I think they give you like an in-game gift every day for like 12 days or something,
Oh,
like the
that's
12 days
cool.
of Christmas. But I haven't really checked out too much.
If I was at where you're at, I'd probably jump in, but alas. Is this supposed to be a non have they pretty much because I see they fixed a lot of quest bugs here, so are we
Yeah,
hoping that they fixed the main issues with the achievements, etc., or
oh, that's a point. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about
have you
that.
had any pops
I'm
since
honestly not gonna worry. No, I haven't. I haven't. I'm not actually gonna worry about that until the first DLC comes out. When the first DLC comes out, then I'll start thinking about whether or not to actually worry about that kind of stuff.
you got a terabyte, right, on your Series X?
It's like 880 something gig.
Right. How what have you got installed? Just Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk and Valhalla. That's it,
Cool. Oh
I
man,
think.
that's crazy. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, don't
Well,
need anything
Jay,
else. I will say my background right now, because there's actually a photo mode. Photo?
photo mode.
Photo mode. How I'd actually say it. Photo. There's a photo mode in Cyberpunk, which is amazing. I will say it's probably one of the better photo modes I've ever seen in a game. I took a photo of a very, very nice character in the game. And actually, so you know how you can change your like the sort of the neon color around your things on your Xbox, like you can have your color, like your theme color, like you can have like orange or green or blue or
Yeah.
yellow.
Yeah.
Like my
Yeah.
at the minute, mine is like a navy blue, kind of like a neon navy blue. And with that, I've got my cyberpunk yellows. I really like the color combination of yellow and blue, which is actually like weirdly part of the game, which I won't go into too much detail. Um, but my background of this person is like a very blue neon color, so it like complements it really well. So I've got one of my favorite backgrounds of all time. I'm just very happy about it. It's like a
Nice.
picture of a very cool character in the game. I love it. It's great.
Nice. Sounds good. Well, I'm going to bore you now, Jay,
Please do.
with my
Bore the hell out of me.
6-month-year-old Ghost of Tsushima opinions because I have platinumed the game.
Yeah, see, it was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's really
Surprisingly
easy.
easy, isn't it?
Yeah, you just have to do everything,
You literally,
basically.
yeah, that's kind of like what it's like with cyber, but like there's like a few things you don't really have to do
Well,
necessarily.
Jay, I hate to break it to you, but Ghost of Tsushima for me was about 65 hours
Yeah, I
all
think that's
told.
what I got right. I was like, it was like 58 or like 68 somewhere around there.
So, like, that's not that far off Cyberpunk.
I mean, not really, no.
So,
But
anyway,
I
just
think I definitely
interesting.
like I didn't speed run the easy quests, but I like sped run the easy quests.
Sorry, wait, are you talking about Cyberpunk?
Yeah,
Right, okay,
like
fine.
the things that are like really
So they
minuscule and
start
take almost
leaking
no
out
time.
now. Goldilocks starts leaking
Well,
out.
no, but I mean, they just didn't, they didn't need to take very long because I was powerful. So I literally was like one shot on everybody. It was like,
No,
yep,
I hear you. It's fine. You didn't.
bloody
You just played
bloody
the game. I
Red Dead
get it.
around here. Yeah,
Don't worry. Yeah, so I'd really like to talk about it because I've
please
got a lot
do.
of thoughts about it.
Yeah,
So,
I want to know, what's
firstly,
happened.
unless you're really put off by the time
Trying to
or
remember what happened.
samurais and ninjas,
Yeah.
you should absolutely play this game.
Told
This
you,
is
didn't I?
not,
Jesus.
yeah, Jay was right. This is
That again.
not. Jay was absolutely right.
Yeah.
This is not a game to think it's a 7 or 8 out of 10 and just to kind of let it go in the wind. This is better than that. It's, for me, it resembles a lot to do with Horizon Zero Dawn in the sense that this is a new type of open world, not in terms of the gameplay, but just the world itself.
Mhm.
These activities are engaging. The characters you'll learn to love,
Yeah. Very memorable.
and will learn their stories. And it is slightly longer than I would have liked. The world is full, but also, has space in it. It feels substantial. It's not an Assassin's Creed open world, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah.
There is no way Assassin's Creed would be able to make a game this good. Put it like that. Okay, like Assassin's Creed is good in different ways, but the concentrated number of characters, the concentrated story told, and the gameplay would simply not be executed in this manner by Ubisoft. I'm afraid to say, at least in the direction they're going. There's
Mhm.
no like watchtowers and you just like uncover the map and like it's kind of like that when you clear camps, but
Yeah, I was gonna
it's
say.
kind of, yeah, but it's kind of more about, like, for me it's, oh, fox, all right, yeah, I'll follow that. Oh, bamboo strikes, they're fucking awesome.
I
They're
tell you what, the
great.
bamboo strikes were some of my favorite things. Like having to remember it and like quickly execute it was just like, oh man, I love that. That was so
It was
cool.
so cool. Again,
Oh
with the
man.
same with Horizon for me, there's so many little things that make this game better than its peers, right? So like bamboo strikes, like the fact that the combat itself is brilliant. I don't like I finished the game and I haven't told Jay this yet, but I'm like, please come on Legends with me because I'm dying just
Right,
to
yeah.
play more. Like, so when he's done with Cyberpunk, we'll probably do that. But I'm dying to play more because I think the combat and the sneak aspects just cohere so well. By the end of the story, I think the key relationship that obviously stands out to me is Jin Sakai and his uncle. And I found the end of the game very, very powerful.
Right, so there's two different endings, right?
Okay, hold on. Spoilers for
Yeah,
Ghost of
massive.
Tsushima for like 5 minutes, maybe less than that, probably less
We'll
than that.
see.
So I'm going to give you 5 seconds to tap out, including what I'm saying right now. So you need to tap out if you haven't played this game because you should play this
Ugh.
game. I'm telling you, Jay's telling you,
Yeah, get
play the
out.
game. Okay. So what option did you go for, Jay?
I think I did both just to see what would happen.
Okay, but which option did you
I'm
want to
trying
pick?
to remember what happened. So you could either what was the option? To either kill him or not kill him?
Yeah,
I think I killed him.
I killed him.
Yeah.
There is no way, in my opinion, you cannot kill him.
Yeah, because you actually two different things happen depending on what you do. I think if you kill him, you get the hut with like all the little Easter eggs from
You
previous
get
Sony
that
games.
anyway.
Yeah, but I think they're in two different locations. So I think if you
Oh,
pick the one where where he survives, you go into like a different part of a different island. If you do it where he
oh,
dies, you go to another part of another island.
okay, got ya. Yeah,
I
in
also
my
think
opinion.
you get different armor as well.
Oh,
So if you pick the one where he dies, you get like a more of a combat heavy armor. But if you get the one where he doesn't, I think you get more of like a ninja stealthy armor,
right, okay. Yeah, I
or
killed
vice
him.
versa, one of the
I
two.
absolutely thought that was, for me, the only option. That being said, Jay, I am fresh off finishing my new game plus playthrough, and get this, I finished it in 10 hours.
How?
I just did the main story.
Oh wow.
10 hours.
Oh yeah, I actually haven't even touched New Game Plus because I finished it before it came out. It came out like a few weeks after I finished the game.
Mm.
I want to say, or maybe even a month or two.
I enjoyed the game that much that I just wanted to run through it while I was listening
I
to
played the
podcasts
game
and
again, but I
play
don't
it
think I
for
did
the
it on New
trophy.
Game Plus, from what I can remember.
I just
Uh,
wanted that new game plus trophy. Like I
oh
just
yeah,
enjoyed
I
it.
haven't got that. So you know,
Yeah, so the ending, I think, so what I was trying to say was new game plus, I spared him on my second playthrough,
Yeah.
and actually the ending wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. Like he's not like crying because you haven't killed him or anything.
Mm.
So apparently the creative director, by the way, Jay, said that the ending is that you spare him.
Oh, okay. There's like a canon one and a non-canon one.
Pretty much. Pretty
It makes
much.
sense that if you spare him because he's your bloody uncle. I mean, you're not just going to kill your family member, are you?
Well, if you have honor.
That depends, I don't know.
And there was another really powerful moment halfway through in
I think I know what you're going to say, but I hope you
similar
say it
vein
right.
to how there's the most powerful moment in God of War halfway through, which I won't spoil for you.
Please tell
Um,
me we're thinking the same thing. I
goes,
really hope we are. Go on.
well, okay, we might. I hope. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Go on.
The powerful moment for me is when you unlock Ghost Stance, and
Oh, I guess. Yeah, okay.
were you thinking Yuriko?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I, unfortunately, I just didn't quite get the emotional impact that a lot of other people did on this
No, it
point.
wasn't as heavy with that in particular. It was just like a wholesome kind of emotion. More of like, oh, okay. It was her time.
Yeah, it was nice. I would,
Pay
I did,
respects.
I did think while I was
Because you
playing
had to
it though.
play the music to her, right? And you got the trophy. There's a trophy where if you go to her grave and then you play a particular, I think you play the Rain song, you then get a trophy for it.
No, that's Yaka or Yuka or Yaka, the blacksmith.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yuna's
you're
brother.
right. You're right. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
That was that was horrendous.
Yeah,
He that was
that was.
horrible.
I saw it coming though. I was like, oh crap.
Oh, dude, you can see that coming from a mile. He's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I'm learning. I'm helping. I can help out." I'm like, "You are so
you're done.
dead.
You're
You
so
are
done.
dead." The powerful moment I found was when you unlock Ghost Dance and
100%.
you beat that samurai or the Mongol general and you behead him and I was like and all the Mongols are terrified running away from you and I was like this is the best fucking thing I've ever seen. It's so good.
You know what it kind of reminded me of? It reminded me of Batman, which is
The games,
why. No, so Batman is supposed to be like how Ghost of Tsushima is.
right.
He's supposed to be feared. He's not supposed to be known at all. He's not supposed to be like. He's not supposed to. You're not supposed to know what he looks like. He's supposed to literally just be this darkness this shadow that eats you and swallows you whole, essentially. So that's kind of what I imagine Ghost of Tsushima to kind of be. He's just kind of like this darkness that you don't see coming, and that you should be terrified. He's like a ghost story. He's like a spirit, which is why a lot of people think he's this spirit. Partway through the game, it's like, have you heard of the Ghost of Tsushima? It's like, I am him. It's kind of like
Yeah.
you're talking about me.
You're supposed to be
Um,
10 foot tall. Why are you 5 foot
yeah,
far? Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
makes you think all these like these like ancient Japanese stories about these demons. You think, well, they're probably a bit exaggerated,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
stuff like that, which is still pretty cool. But yeah,
Yeah, the tales were really great. I think there were some really cool side missions in there. Obviously, the mythic tales as well. There were, as I mentioned, there were slightly too many collectibles overall. I think, there was a couple of moments when I was playing the game where I was like, I'm getting a little bit draggy here.
yeah,
Like, for instance, I think I told you, the first island, all collectibles included, took me like 30 hours. And I finished the campaign in 10 by not speedrunning it, but
no,
definitely going through it.
just going through it. Yeah,
Yeah, so all in all, I thoroughly enjoy this game. I'm really, really glad I played it, and I'm happy I listened to Jay. And yeah, like, as I mentioned, I don't think people should skip on this game. I think I'm not. Like, I know there's a lot of it got a little bit of a thing because The Last of Us Part Two wasn't what people wanted it to be. Which, by the way, creators let creators create. But anyway, so that game didn't resonate with people as some people thought it would, and then a lot of people play Ghost of Tsushima and were like, "Oh, this is what I want from a game," and whatever. I'm removing all that rubbish. I'm just saying it as a game, it's really, really good. If you were like,
yeah,
Nick, is it better than part two? I'd be like, get out the fucking room. But it's really, really good game. I think everyone should play it. And
agree.
that's it, really. I've got more things to say, but what else is there to add?
No,
Really?
I think that's good. Yeah, no, it's a,
Cool.
it's a solid game.
It was.
It definitely could have been one of those games that didn't really see the light of day from a lot of people, but I'm glad it did.
Mm.
I
And it
guess
sold
when I
well.
first saw it, I thought, yeah, this game isn't going to do that well when I first saw it, and then it started to get closer to like release date, and I was like, oh, actually, it's starting to get a bit more traction than I thought. And then yeah, I think literally on the 18th of July, the day before it came out, I was like, right, I'm pre-ordering this. This looks good now.
Yeah.
Seeing a bit more information, yeah, a bit more gameplay.
And I can already feel that the whole gameplay experience is going to resonate in like 2-3 years. Like, I think we're going to look fondly on this game in the
Yeah,
future
definitely.
for sure. And it again, Jay, if I can just a quick aside, I think for what it's worth, Cyberpunk and Ghost, that's how you do open world games.
Yeah,
Please, Ubisoft, stop, stop making them bigger. I want a
yeah. Don't
50-hour
go bigger.
game.
Don't go bigger.
Stop. Nobody wants
Now
this
we
game
know
big.
why they made them bigger,
Go on, so they
especially
can
in
keep
Valhalla. So that they've got more people. So people play the game longer, so they say stick around longer, so they can buy their microtransactions.
right.
It's 100% what it is. That's all Ubisoft and EA have always ever been about. It's make the games longer so people stick around longer, so they feel like they need to buy these microtransactions because they're getting fed up with playing it for so long. So they think, right, I'll just speed the process up and buy these credits or whatever, which is stupid, but I'm sure that's how they make a lot of money.
Quick question, Jay, on
Hmm.
The Last of Us Part 2 and the Game Awards. If it's okay, I just want to ask you this one question about it.
Go on then.
What are your thoughts about it winning XYZ and the gaming, a minor, well, some gamers having the opinion that it's this not
That
good
it was
game?
fabricated. That they
Oh,
won because it was all like
I mean, I haven't even heard this.
yeah. So I think the larger conspiracy is that all the because the Game Awards are 90% journalist voted, and then 10% audience voted.
Right.
Journalists tend to be more on the left politically, and so if they're going to align with anything, they're going to align with a game that had a lot of controversy around its politics, um, and especially ones. It's weird. Do you know what the biggest thing for me is? The gaming community, uh, on a larger front, are very anti-left. They're not necessarily right, but they're not left. They're very anti-left, which is weird because then you look at the gaming review people and they're very very left. So it's sort of like this weird world of like these two things clashing. And then once then you see I think that's part of the reason why you see such an uproar when things like this happen is because the gaming community don't agree with the gaming journalism. They're two opposites of something that's of gaming. They're the very opposite ends of what gaming is. You've got the actual players, and then you've got the media of people who, tell us the stories about all the gaming community, and they're not the same people, if you ask me. So I think depending on how you look at it, it winning Game of the Year in any journalistic sort of media run or voted award show, people are obviously going to disagree with it. I don't know. I think it definitely deserved to win some things. It definitely, they obviously didn't like fluke a game into existence. They must have put a fuck ton of work into it. So I think they definitely get some credit there. I don't actually know if Ghosts should have won it, but I also don't know if Last of Us should have won it either. I think it probably would have been a lot closer had it been a 50-50 journalist and audience voting system rather than 90-10. I think it would have been a fuck ton because I don't know if you know, but the 100% audience vote, Ghost of Tsushima won that by I think like 43% to 34% or something. So I don't know. I think you know, Ghost of Tsushima won the battle, but not necessarily the war, as it were. I don't know. I you know, the first Last of Us, I think won Game of the Year 2013, right?
No doubt. And like
So
every outlet ever.
I think it just proves the point that journalists are the ones who have the final say when it comes to awards. Anyway, they have the last say when it comes to actual gaming community opinions. because they're nobody compared to the actual entirety of the gaming community. You've got these millions and millions of individuals versus this, small group of maybe 30 people at a journalist's place. So it depends on what you want to believe, really. The majority, or the very loud minority. So yeah, what was your question again? I can't
No,
remember what you asked.
no, mate.
Answer it. I can't remember.
And with that, I would like to look at all the stuff they announced at the Game Awards, mate. Do you want to go through it with me?
Yeah, let me get the list up because
Um,
there's actually a few games on here what I was like very excited about. I think from what I can
yeah.
remember.
Can we just talk about the ones we're excited about, Jay? Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely. Let's
So
have a look.
I don't want to go through everything.
So,
We're not a news podcast.
not necessarily.
Yeah, sure. We're news influenced. But the first thing for me, Jay, I'm going from the top to bottom, by the way, on the article from
Yeah.
IGN, who have summarized everything. Thanks, IGN. From Felicia Miranda. Wow, that's some syllables, isn't it? That you cannot roll that. Felicia Miranda.
Do you mean Felicia?
Felicia.
Yeah.
Felicia Miranda.
Bye, Felicia.
Oh my god, my brother still does that.
Do you even get that reference?
No.
Oh, I'm glad.
Oh, is that White Chicks?
No, I think it's NWA, isn't it? It's Straight Outta Compton.
No, it's not. No, it's before that, wasn't it?
No, I think it was before that, but they also say it in that movie too.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, the first thing, mate, look, I've said this before, right?
I'll say it again.
I'll say it again. Near Automata, I was one of the, I think you were as well. When we first saw that game, we were like, this game looks fucking dope. And then I'm saying it now, this Near Replica remake thing from the first game looks good as well.
Probably not going to play it though.
Me neither.
I do actually have Near Automata, but I didn't want to play it because I didn't think I could get all the achievements on it, which I know is like a really silly thing. So I might actually go back and just play it for the sake
That
of playing.
literally sounds like you were me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that is my exact thought.
I'll go back and finish it and just not bother with trying to get everything. Because literally, to be able to platinum that game, you need to be like a bloody genius. You need to be able to do so much skill level wise. It's insane.
I also think that game is more boring than people let on. But
it's definitely become part of gaming pop culture. If you're part of the, this is weird to say. Are you part of the the dark side of gaming culture?
No.
I guess you could call it dark side. Like there's a weird, there's sort of like a grey area of gaming culture.
Okay.
Character 2B, I think, the female character with the blindfold from Near Automata, is like part of that culture. Like she's just very like
sexualized.
A lot, yeah, sexualized. A lot of fan art. Like she's like become like a waifu, I guess you could call it in quotes.
Wow. Okay, this is supreme.
Yeah, we're going into some like weird, sort of very nerdy gamer boy shit right here. Same as sad.
Mate, at the end of the day, you're an observer. You know.
Yeah, I am an observer to a lot.
Yeah.
You got any questions about the grey area of the gaming community? I'm the man. I live on that border. I'm literally. I'm constantly back and forth between the white, grey, and black area of the game community. I have my finger in each of those pies. Believe me.
Oh, good lord. Good.
It's great. It's a great place to be. It's interesting just to know, just to look, people watch.
So next up, Jay.
Yeah.
This I'll just checking this Century Age of Ashes. Is this interesting you?
Oh, just another one of those weird sort of like pilot-y, shootery things. Very boring.
Oh, okay, right.
Did you actually watch any of the trailers for these?
Yeah, the ones I like.
Okay, well you missed that one then, right?
Which one?
Century Age of Ashes.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, well there you go. Now you know what it is. It's boring.
Jay, we need to talk about this.
Yeah, which one is it?
This is the main topic of the show, if you want to call
it.
Well, I'm calling it that because I'm that infuriated by it.
I don't know what you're saying yet.
So Microsoft haven't got any exclusives for their game box, right? Okay. So they start making exclusives. Now we've got a few franchises that everyone's getting a little bit stale with, one might say. So like you like Gears of War, for instance.
Yeah.
Or you with Gears of War. We've got a Halo game delay till 2021, which has been in the works for about 5 years, maybe a little bit less than that. And then we've got nothing basically. So we've got all these games that have been announced and have not come out. We've got really good games that have come out, like Ori and the Will of the Wisps and Cuphead. And where's that Cuphead DLC? Nobody knows.
It's not
So
happening.
I can't believe no one's talking about it. But
Oh,
anyway,
they are, just not that loudly.
yeah, sure. And then we had a brand new studio built from the ground up to create a quadruple A game.
Yeah,
Okay.
I forgot what that was. I remember hearing about that before, but I
Well,
forgot.
Jay, that studio is called The Initiative, and they're rebooting Perfect Dark.
Oh, that is that. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Jay, please tell me you're as disappointed as I am when you hear this news, because what the actual hell is going on?
Yeah, so I'd say the people who are probably in their 30s and older are probably excited about Perfect Dark. Probably it.
When you're making a brand new franchise for Xbox, which by the way is still seen as, like the kind of,
Didn't
I
wasn't
guess, the
Perfect Dark the
teenager,
first 360 game?
right? No, it was even before that.
No, I mean I know it's before that, but I mean like the Perfect Dark Zero was the first ever 360 game, right?
I think it was on the launch lineup.
Yeah, it was launch lineup with like Cameo and a few other things.
I think so.
Yeah, it was awful. It
Xbox
was
is
like
still
playing
seen.
bloody 007 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Golden,
yeah,
it's really
yeah.
bad.
Xbox is still seen as the teenager. So then they go and reboot a franchise which
Yeah.
you love. If you manage to play a game which is literally like 25,000 years old, which had a cultural, like, I'm sure it was a massive game at the time, but I can tell
Eh,
you now, I haven't met that many Perfect Dark diehards,
like I
right?
said, they're all like my dad's age.
Right, okay, great.
Maybe slightly younger, like maybe like 35 to 45.
So then I watched the trailer and it's about ecological disasters
Yeah,
with drones.
yeah.
I
It's not.
mean,
I don't know.
Sony
I'm not
deserve to win
expecting.
at this point. Like,
I'm not expecting much. I'm not going to play it. I don't think.
Jay, I'm not expecting anything from this game,
No, me
dude.
neither.
Like,
Me neither.
what the hell? When Ubisoft go, oh, we're gonna redefine the action adventure genre, they made Assassin's Creed. When Xbox did it, they rebooted a franchise which literally a million people care about, if that. If that.
I'm glad you said that. I'm actually really glad you said that.
Jay, we're not getting good exclusives for this whole
Well,
generation. I've said it. I'm
look,
sorry,
we
they're
haven't
not
actually
coming out.
seen any gameplay yet, so we can't really make too much of a judgment. We can
You
make
are
some. We can make enough of a judgment to be like this probably isn't going to be any good because it's Perfect Dark. I'm not expecting much. If the game looks about the same as what Legendary did back on 360, that's about what I'm expecting.
what interesting game to bring up.
I quite enjoyed that game at the time. It's really bad now, but I enjoyed it at the time.
I just This is literally the worst news to me as an Xbox fan. This was their secret sauce. This was supposed to be their Horizon, their Ghost, their God
Yeah,
of War,
they dropped the
their
ball.
what the
They
are
got
they
tossed the
thinking?
ball and they dropped the hell out of it. I guess we'll have to wait and see, won't we? This could be the next big thing. We don't know.
I mean,
Very
do you think it's
unlikely.
the next big
Very,
thing from this
probably
trailer?
not, but we could be really wrong. We don't know. I'm not. Chance, I don't trust women with short haircuts. So
Do you know what's funny? I don't either.
yeah, well, there you go.
Oh,
Although I guess
sorry,
some people
mate.
would say they don't trust men with long haircuts like me. So to each
Oh.
their own. To each their own.
Anyway, time for you to maybe talk about this Back for Blood. I assume you're
Yes.
interested.
You know what? I'm actually kind of glad to see this, and I haven't actually watched. There's a 45-minute stream playthrough of the alpha. I haven't watched it yet, but I've watched seen clips, and I'm very excited. So Left 4 Dead is one of those games that I got very bored of about 7 or 8 years ago, maybe. And I was kind of waiting just to see if anything came out of it like a decade later, and it kind of has. So I'm kind of glad. It looks good. It actually looks fairly fun. I wouldn't mind seeing what it's like between now and when it comes out, and then if it's any good, I might get it. It's definitely in the list of potential games that I will buy. Potential. I
Yeah.
think it's in alpha right now. I've seen a couple streamers who had like early access or whatever, It looks good. It looks like it'll be a fun streaming thing to watch, and then potentially if you've got a mate or two who want to play it with you, then it'll be fun too. It does look like a much improved version of Left 4 Dead, basically. So we'll see. It looks fun for
I
now.
hope it's good. I hope it's good, and I hope you like it.
Yeah, it says it's launching next year, 2021. I don't think it'll be coming out then. I think it'll be awful when it comes out. I think it'll be one of those games that got released too soon. I think we're living in an era now of gaming where games get released like 6, 7, 8, 12 months ahead of time. Seriously, we're in an epidemic as well as a pandemic right now of just bad gaming releases.
To
Games are
be
being
fair,
released way too early.
do you know what's interesting? Is this happened at the beginning of last gen as well?
It did, yeah,
Genuinely,
100%. Yeah,
genuinely.
this wasn't just at the start of this year. This was like years ago when it started. It was like maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
But I feel like for the last few years we've been okay
Yeah,
with
I
games.
feel like people have just been sort of luckily getting by. I think it started with Anthem. What was that, 2 years ago? Year and a half
Uh,
ago, 2 years ago, right, with Anthem? I think it was January or February 2019,
2018.
2018, 2019. Yeah, so about then. I think it started roughly with Anthem around that time. Yeah, just released way too early. And people were like, oh, we should also make the same mistake. And then they kept bloody doing it. It was annoying as hell.
Should we
Jesus
release a
Christ.
game that's not finished? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I
I'm kind of
see.
hoping that the next one you say is going to be the same one I'm thinking of.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say quickly that Force is getting a crossover with Cyberpunk. Like, who cares about
That's kind of
that?
cool.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And Glenn Schofield, who is someone you should definitely be paying attention to, because that guy's knows a lot in the games space. He's doing a new sci-fi horror game called The Callisto Protocol. It's coming out 2022 apparently. So
Yeah.
that could be interesting.
So
Keep an eye on that.
you know who that is, right?
Creative Dead Space. Creative
Exactly.
Director. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's a good name. I love hearing that man's name.
yeah.
'Cause he didn't do Dead Space 3. He did 1 and 2, which were the best ones, if you ask me.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm very happy that he's come back to make something similar. I kind of have an idea of what I want it to be in my head, but I don't know if it will be. I'm glad it says 2022 and not 2021.
Hell yeah.
Because
Hell.
if it had said late 2021, I'd have been like, nah, it's coming out 2022. Honestly, whenever I hear a release date now, I'm like, nah, give it another 6 months. It'll actually be out in six
You
months.
have to do that as the
Yeah.
standard.
You
You
kind of
have.
have to now. You have to be like, you're wrong. No, 6 months.
Yeah.
Then it comes out. I feel like every game has the initial release date and then the real release date when it's actually been fixed about a year later. Yeah, exactly. Dumb at this point, but yes, I'm actually kind of excited about that. I don't really get the name right now, but I'm sure we'll understand at some point.
Yeah,
It'll be.
absolutely. Absolutely. Was there one I missed out then, Jay? Was there
Oh,
something else?
that was what I wanted to talk about. I guess the next one was just Warhammer, but
Yeah.
Warhammer games. I've been a bit annoyed about Warhammer games the last 5 or 6 years. They've all sort of been a bit disappointing in general. I'd say the only one that I've actually enjoyed in the last couple of years was probably a PC game, like a Total War Warhammer game. But other than that, yeah, they've been a bit disappointing. But I'm hoping they've finally improved and that this one's actually going to be okay. It's very similar to Left 4 Dead. It's just like a Left 4 Dead Warhammer game, basically.
I heard, Jay, that Vermintide 2 was supposed to be okay. Don't know if you
First one
played
was really bad. First one was actually buggier than Cyberpunk.
that.
It
Fair.
was really bad. It like you'd get to the end of the mission and it just would not complete. But it was constant.
Oh,
It was like
God.
80% of the time, 90% of the time, it just wouldn't finish. So
Jay, was I clear on my stance with Perfect Dark, by the way?
yeah, I guess so.
Okay, cool.
Don't like it.
Well, yeah, and just the whole context of where exclusives are with Xbox at the moment and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like become like an ongoing meme at this point that Xbox is no good at making exclusives,
Yeah,
and they're still failing,
yeah,
regardless of how much popularity they've probably gained this year.
yeah. Okay,
I think
cool.
Xbox has definitely bumped up their brand in the last 12 months. It's definitely fluctuated, but it's definitely up than it would have been 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see.
And another one of BioWare's 4 projects at this point. Now I think
Yeah.
they're working
Are
on
they
3.
running themselves too thin?
Yes.
Are we going to see 4 terrible games instead of 2 or 1 amazing?
Oh.
Because I think
Okay,
they're all different studios, right? They're part of the same umbrella, just
yeah.
different branches of the same umbrella.
I've never seen a studio manage to pull off this many different projects extremely successfully, as far as I can
Yeah, I'm
remember.
trying to think. Square Enix don't count as a
Now the publisher,
they're a publisher, aren't they? Um, yeah, I say publishers are obviously a lot better at it because they're not actually the ones making the game.
like if you, in terms of developer,
Yeah,
3 projects at the same time.
is it four?
Well, okay, so I've got Anthem,
Yeah, Anthem, Dragon Age 4,
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect, so three.
I think that's it.
Yeah, unless I do another one that I've forgotten about. But
Jay, if that Anthem update isn't out in the next 6 months, I think it will be a case of why bother.
no, I think it could literally come out in the next 2 or 3 years and still be fine.
Really?
Yeah, there's been games that have had re-releases like 3 or 4 years later and still done fairly well.
I just don't think it'll be that substantial, Jay.
I don't know. I think the game should have been delayed indefinitely when it before it even came out.
I think it
Because
sold quite
the
well.
beta should have literally been the last time we saw that game. It
Mm.
should have been enough of a warning sign to them to be like, right, we need to spend a lot more time on this, maybe a couple of years. They should have literally. I know there's been games that they've had betas and then they've gone dark for like 2 or 3 years and they just come back out again and then they've just been fine. So I'd rather that Anthem would have come out a year or two later and been a fine game than come out when it did and just be a really bad one. So
Mm.
I'm glad to wait on that.
When do you genuinely think Dragon Age 4 is coming out?
2020, late 2022, early 2023, I think is potentially
Oh my god.
earliest possibility. I'd say latest possibility, end of 2024.
Oh my god.
Latest, at the latest. If it's not coming up before then
Oh
what's the point?
wow. I really hope Dragon Age 4 is good.
Probably won't be. I've started to get fed up with Dragon Age. I got fed up with it on Inquisition, honestly.
I'm not entirely sure why they went back to Dragon Age, but
Yeah, they could have made something completely different, and it probably still would have been fine.
yeah, or Mass Effect, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually looking more forward to Mass Effect than I am Dragon Age, honestly. I want to play Mass Effect 1 and 2 again so bad, and I want to be like Series X or like PS5 ready. Like I want to be like, you know,
They
4K.
they definitely should be. They definitely
Because
should
do you
be.
know the resolution for Mass Effect 1 on PC?
What's that?
I think it's like between. It's not even like 720. It's like between 480 and 720. It's like right in the middle somewhere.
Wow.
Like
Okay.
I tried to play it on my PC once, and the screen was tiny. I was like, what the hell am I looking at right now? This is like the resolution is awful. Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
Just couldn't make it any larger. But there you go.
Uh,
This Crimson Desert game.
yeah, mate.
It seemed to be like almost like a tech demo.
Is it not? Oh, right. This is the makers of Black Desert, right?
Yeah, Black Desert are sort of known for having very very detailed games that run fairly well actually. So it looked like quite a ambitious game to make. But I reckon this will probably utilize in the future. It'll probably utilize the new Unreal Engine, I imagine,
Oh yeah.
at some point. I mean, I can't imagine why it wouldn't. Look at it. I mean, it looks amazing, right?
Yes,
They're
it
going to need
does.
all the help they can get, especially with all the PC. I mean, it's probably going to be one of the better PC games that comes out. It won't run on console very well, but it'll run on PC well.
Yeah, like again, I'm sure these MMOs have an audience, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes again, I feel like MMOs are sort of like the bloated PC versions of AC games.
pretty much.
Like they're so bloated. They're just like they're like wow, they can go on forever.
Yeah, they are literally designed to never
To
finish.
Yeah, because people are still playing WoW, and that game's been out what 20 years longer. I think it's like
Obviously, they
18
update
somewhere around there.
every year or 2 years, don't
I
they?
think it was the 12th anniversary of the second DLC a week ago.
Really?
Yeah, so the second ever DLC for that game, or the third ever
After
DLC for
Lich
that game,
King?
came out 12 years ago. Yeah, Lich King came out 12 years ago, I think. Yeah,
That's bonkers.
yeah, exactly. So it's a long game. It's a good game though, even though it
That
looks
I
bad
was,
still.
I was gonna say that game. There's a reason why that game's so popular, is what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
it's because it's just it goes on forever. You can't finish. I mean, you can technically finish it, but you'll never finish it until they stop
No,
making the game. They're still
exactly.
making things for it. So
Arc 2. came out with
Yeah.
Vin
So
Diesel in it.
is it actually a game or is it? I'm pretty sure it's a movie. It's an animated series, right? No, it is a game, but they're also making an animated series.
Yes,
They're doing
correct.
both. It doesn't look very good. I'm not. I'm not a fan of that.
Is it? I thought Arc 1 was still being worked on.
It is.
Like,
Yeah. It's a game. It's one of those games that's like perpetually in beta, like how Minecraft was in beta forever, and like
right,
how
6
PUBG was in. Yeah, 60. Like
Yeah.
all those games were in beta up until like a year ago.
Okay.
It's like one of those kind of games. It's just constantly being worked on. But yeah, it's actually a lot bigger than you think too. I think it's one of the largest selling games on Steam. I think it's up
Yeah.
there. It's one of
Yeah, I
those like
think
hidden gems that it's just like done amazingly well, but you wouldn't know it looking at it.
yeah, correct. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's definitely not my style of game. Definitely not.
Me neither. I wonder what it's like, Jay, to be involved in these game worlds and communities. Like Ark. Like I'm sure there's community of millions of people playing that game, or at least hundreds of thousands of people
Yeah,
playing that game, and like we have no idea about it. It's pretty crazy.
I have some idea. Like I said, I've got my pulse on the gaming community. Got my fingers in many pies. So I do see a lot. I see snippets of things. I still see people streaming Arc a lot. So
Yeah.
it's whatever in that way. But yeah, not part of my repertoire, my menagerie.
And your game of the year for next year, Jay, Outriders
No,
seems
it's
to
not.
be
No, it's coming
seems
out
to
in
be coming
February. It
out.
looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Feb,
it was supposed
Feb
to be
next.
coming out. Actually, it's supposed to be coming out in 8 days. But
Right.
it got delayed until February, which I'm glad. That honestly, whenever I see a delay now, I'm like, oh, thank God, Jesus Christ. It
Mm,
probably needed it badly. So
definitely.
I probably
Oh,
looked at like other games and went, oh God, we can't make that mistake.
to be fair though, Jay, because of the recent lockdown measures introduced, I don't think launching at the end of December would have been suicidal where it would have been suicidal financially a few years ago. Like, I actually think COVID is one of the best
Uh,
years to release your game whenever, if I'm
yeah,
honest.
very true. Yeah, I'd say this last year you could literally release a game at any point and it'd probably do as well as what it would have done at peak in previous years. So
Yeah, yeah,
if not better because everyone's at home. So
absolutely.
yeah,
Evil Dead game, which looks
mm.
very similar to like a Friday the 13th Dead by
Yeah,
Daylight.
it's basically Friday. Yeah, it's basically one of those games, just with
Right.
what's his face from Evil Dead.
Yeah, Bruce Forsyth? No,
Not Forsyth.
that's not his name.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Though it's Ash, right?
Ash, right. No, what's the actor's name?
Oh, I don't know.
Please tell me it's Bruce someone,
I don't think I've
otherwise
actually seen any of those films. I've seen
I haven't.
clips of it, but it's one of those
Anyway,
ones again. If you're older, you'll probably appreciate those movies more, like in your maybe mid to late 30s.
yeah.
Yeah, not part of our generation. Definitely not.
This Returnal, Jay, looks
I
interesting.
knew you were going to say that. I hovered over it. Yeah, that actually does look pretty good. I think it'll probably be one of those like control-y type games. Like it'll be like one of those. I think it's in third person as well, like Control is. So yeah, it's basically the next Control essentially. It looks good. It does. I think it's supposed to be like it's about time travel as well. It's a bit like Groundhog Day. I think is the idea.
Well,
Like whenever you die, you just revert back to the start or something.
these guys used to make twin stick shooters, and they've gone into like this kind
Yeah,
of
they've done.
play,
Yeah.
3D play. So
I
I'm
actually
really
quite like some twin stick shooters. So
yeah, defo.
and actually, Near Automata is in a similar vein to that too. They've got a lot of bosses that shoot out projectiles, a lot like twin stick
Yeah,
shooter games do. So
yes, they do.
I do
And
like those style of games.
yeah, and the controls, as now that you've mentioned it, Jay, that is very twin stickery. Yeah.
Exactly.
It Takes Two looks great. This co-op
To Tango?
to tango.
Takes two to tango, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It take. Ah, right. I see.
I actually forgot what this is. Is this the new game by the people who did that?
A Way Out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Which is that where you're like convicts or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
actually
This
really
game.
like that game. That's really smart. It's a very good story.
It was really good. I played it with my brother.
But
Very
this
good game.
It Takes Two doesn't look as good to me.
I thought it looked great. I thought the jokes were funny. I thought it looked exciting. I thought it looked different. I'm really excited to play it.
I actually think the guy, the lead developer guy, is actually a bit of a character. I do quite enjoy him.
Yeah, you remember his
'Cause isn't
Oscar.
he like Iranian or something? I think he's like from Dubai or somewhere.
Yeah,
He knows how to sell a game. This man can sell you something.
I
He's a very
assume
good
you
salesman.
You saw his Oscar speech a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
The
But yeah,
gates.
I'm not too fussed about that. But whatever.
Okay. The gates of Oblivion's coming to Elder Scrolls Online, which is interesting. I think.
Yeah, good name for that.
Yes. Still supporting the
I'm
game. So
sure.
that's
Yeah, people. Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online is sort of becoming like wow. It really is. It's one of those just
it
really
is.
long-standing MMOs that has been around for a while now. So I'm
It
glad
really.
that the people who are still playing it are probably really enjoying it still. So
Yeah, I hope so. I
happy
hope
about
so.
that. Yeah.
Something I wouldn't talk about, but I will, because you're here. New trailer for Monster Hunter Rise, an upcoming demo coming out. Are you gonna play
Yeah,
this?
I'm probably not going to play that now. I think it's Switch exclusive, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, I might get it. It just depends. Monster Hunter is a very particular mood I have to be in. Very, very particular. So, I mean, that's one of those like 50-50s. It's on the list, but it's probably not going to make it off of the list at this point. I have to wait and
And
see.
your next game of the year, Jay, Scarlet Nexus is coming out summer
Yeah,
2021.
summer. Yeah.
Are you still interested in this game?
Mhm.
Okay, okay.
Anime all the way, baby.
Anime all the way. Jay,
Yeah.
what was the last Just Cause you played?
3?
Was it any good?
Did I play 3? Uh, yeah, no, it's fine. It wasn't the best. It was just like one of those kind of like boring. I feel like Just Cause is dead to me again. Just very old fashioned at this point. Very boring. Like it just it chucks you into this sandbox. It just feels very quite empty. Because I think because it's in third person, it makes it feel even more empty as well. So
Yeah,
it's
fair
just
enough.
too big. It's too vast.
Yeah,
You can go a bit too much. It's definitely a bit OTT. It
fair
sort
enough.
of went a bit more on like the Saints Row end of things. It felt a bit sort of slapstick and silly.
Yeah,
A
without
bit.
embracing it, kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah. Well, that's coming to mobile. I think they're doing a mobile game for Just Cause
it's
anyway.
for a
And
young audience, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, and last thing, obviously, I want to mention, and anything else that Jay does want to, is that the next Mass Effect kind of got a teaser trailer, and
Yeah, so this is Mass Effect 4, right?
5
Was that what was the fourth one?
Andromeda.
Oh, I don't count that. No, 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 no. That game, genuinely, I forgot that game existed. It's
Clearly,
bad. It's awful. That's the buggy again. One of those games. Andromeda was actually probably the start of the games of like being released way too soon. Jesus Christ, that game needed another 5 years. That game should have been this Mass Effect
it's
that's
true.
now coming. It needed like another decade. It needed so long. That game. Actually, my dad played it. I think like a year or two later and quite enjoyed it. But no, but it's bad. Animations were awful. My God, it was so bad. Like I think initially when I first started playing it, I was like, "Oh, cool, Mass Effect," and then I started to like see all the cracks, and I was like, "Oh my God, these cracks are so big! Jesus Christ, this is awful. This game is not even finished. Oh God, so
Jay,
bad."
I just thought of a studio which is doing the same thing in terms of 3 projects
Yeah,
as
go on.
Bethesda is.
Yeah, so we've got Elder Scrolls 6.
Yep.
Uh, what else?
Starfield.
Starfield, which I
And
don't know if I mentioned to you. I've seen leaked images of, but continue.
oh,
Well, at least I've seen leaked images of like models for the game, so like a spaceship and a character, whatever. Yeah.
what
Continue.
what did you think of them?
Good graphics,
Really?
quality detail on the graphics. Yeah, so
Fuck, that
it
is
looks like it has.
surprising.
It looks like it. You know, Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
It reminded me of if that was made by someone who put a bit more time into the detail of things.
Okay.
So we'll go with that for now.
And Fallout 76, which I will count because they are adding to that game.
Oh
They
yeah, I
recently
guess so.
released
I guess so.
the new.
Again, that's like one of those MMOs that probably has quite a good longevity to it at this point. So
I can't wait to get back to that on my Series X whenever I get one because I'm eager to play through that game. But yeah, so Mass Effect gets a new teaser trailer. Jay, BioWare need to stop announcing their projects. Am I right? Or am I right?
I don't know. I guess it's good to know that they're coming.
Yeah, but when are they coming? 2027? Like, you know?
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Well,
I'm
anyway,
actually I'm
go
kind of
on.
glad they put Liara on as like the person who you see in the trailer
Sure.
because I guess it makes you think. Well, there could be some other returning characters. I say Miranda. Miranda is probably my favorite. One of my favorite characters from previous games.
Hot.
Yeah, Miranda, Thane was great. Javik was great. Mordin, Garrus, Tali, like Erdnot. I mean, I love these characters, man.
Absolutely.
Dude.
So you're pretty excited about this then, right?
Mass Effect 2 was again like one of my favorite Mass Effect games. It's just yeah. I mean, I really hope it's just an improved version again. Like, as we're seeing a lot of improved versions of previous iterations of games at the minute, and they
What's
seem to be
in
doing all right. So
Yeah, absolutely. What's
it could be in
interesting,
the
Jay,
trial phase. I don't know.
is like back in the day, they were making Mass Effect games look easy.
Yeah,
Like they just made Mass Effect 1, 2, 3 like that with alongside Dragon Age, and they were just making it look like it was a piece of cake, in my opinion. Like debates aside, I think all three of those games are pretty incredible games. So like,
I think
yeah,
our standards have changed though, haven't they?
mm,
Like, I feel like our standards back then weren't that high, and I think the older we get, our standards are just going to get more and more higher.
unreasonable.
Unreasonable is a good word, yeah. But then again, I feel we kind of have to like, you know, tell ourselves that they shouldn't be that high because then it ruins it. So we need to suppress ourselves from that emotion at this point.
Yeah.
It's just going to ruin things. We need to think this game's going to be awful, but then it turns out to be great.
Anything else you want to talk about, mate, for the Game Awards?
No, I think that was all right. I'm trying to remember like winners and everything.
I'm not too fussed about going over them personally, to be honest.
Let me just see if there's anything that like stands out in particular.
I did like.
Oh, okay.
Go
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Best score and music.
I was literally just about to talk about it. Go on.
Oh, I'm so bloody Norfolk. Music.
Music.
Final Fantasy VII. It won something,
Right. It was
and it,
something.
it deserved to win the music. I tell you that right now. They literally took every song from the previous game, Seven. They remastered and re-recorded and remixed every song, and they added a bunch more included too. There's a theme for every character. I mean, it's insane. The amount of work had to go into just making the soundtrack is enough for like it's more work than probably what most indie game developers have to do across their entire gaming development. Like man, I'm so glad they won that. They deserved the hell out of that. I tell you. They really did. It's insane what they did with that. I'm very glad.
I've heard nothing but good things about it, so
Yeah, it's insane. And then I guess Ghost with art direction, which I think actually says quite a lot about, I guess, just what we meant about like the direction of what open world games are doing right now. I guess you could potentially tie that in with like, you know, I guess the stylized way of how ghosts look, I guess, is also another thing that's potentially good for the future. Like, I think the way that the game looked was something quite fresh in comparison to previous things we've seen. It's very realistic, wasn't it? Like, it wasn't that cartoony.
very realistic. And the
Mm.
game is beautiful.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm pretty sure Ghost got nominated for score and music as well because it definitely has some
It
good
must
music.
have. It
And then I
must have.
guess just like indie game, I'm glad Hades won that because it definitely deserved it.
Dude, we have to. When that comes to console, I have to try that game.
Best RPG, Final Fantasy, makes sense. Oh, best VR game, Half-Life Alyx. Again, really, really good. Yeah, 100%. I was kind of surprised about debut game with Phasmophobia. I thought that was quite cool actually, because you probably don't know a lot about that game, do you?
No.
It's probably one of the most streamed games over the last few months. Like everyone's playing it. People are still playing it. It was supposed to be like a Halloween type game that came out around that time, but people are still playing it now. It's stuck around for months. It's pretty good. It's not a great game, but it's fun to watch people play.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, no, I think the people who won what they did probably deserved it more than anything else.
Last thing, Jay. Realistically, I'm not looking to get an Xbox now till probably March next year, being realistic about the situation.
Yeah, I haven't even looked on what the situation is, honestly.
Well, the situation is, as far as I can tell, is that they get restocked with no alert whatsoever, and then they go out in about 5 seconds. So,
Oh, okay, sure.
anyway, the best news I can expect, Jay, well, we can expect, has happened in that members of our parliament have filed a
UK,
motion,
pick up.
yeah, to discuss the prohibiting of the resale of gaming consoles and computer components at prices greatly above manufacturer's recommended retail price. And that comes, just for some credit, that comes from Joe Screbbles at IGN. So that this is as good as we can expect at this moment in time. But if this elevates to a policy, this is going to be answering my prayers.
So I think there's actually been an update to that, and I think it has reached that point.
Really?
Because I think there was a recent number where I think it was like something like $28 million has been made from just scalping consoles
Right.
on solely on eBay. So solely on eBay, scalpers have made $28 million worth of sales, which is more than anything that's been scalped console-wise before. So that yeah, the UK government saw that and went, nope, that's not happening. I think yeah, the US don't seem to care that much, but the US have got a lot more other things to worry about than
True.
scalping
True.
consoles. So we do too, but it seems to be that the UK tend to put things that don't actually matter that much ahead of much other things. So,
I'm really,
but I'm guessing
I'm,
it's good news for you, definitely. Yeah.
dude, I'm super happy about this, and hopefully again it
Thing is
motivates
though,
Parliament to move against ticket sales as well.
it's good for the future, but the damage has already been done. Those $28 million worth of scalping could have gone to people who actually deserved it probably more than people who bought that or who got the money from people from buying it. I think you're just as bad as if you buy it from scalpers as if you're actually scalping it.
See,
It's
I
not,
don't
not
agree with
good.
that. I think if you're desperate and
Nah,
you want a
it's not. You're
console,
not going to pay £1,000 or $1,000 for a console just because you missed out. That's ridiculous.
no,
I
but
think
what?
if you're rich, sure, go ahead, but nah.
No,
Like you're
I
basically
get it.
funding.
It's a principle thing. I get it, but
Yeah,
what
you're
I'm saying
funding
is
it.
that like ultimately I blame the scalpers.
Yeah, ultimately, 100%. You shouldn't be doing it in the first place. But if you're felicitating it, is that the right word?
Sure, sure.
You're not maybe just as bad, but
You're contributing.
you're contributing to the problem
Yeah, I get that, Jay. What I
to an
don't
extent.
like,
I'm not that angry about it because it hasn't really
yeah,
affected me, obviously. But
what
I'm
I
annoyed that
don't
other people have been affected.
what I don't like is that the gaming media telling you all to not buy from scalpers is like, yeah, thanks guys for getting it all from day one or 2 weeks
Yeah,
before
and
it came out.
free as
Thank you so
well.
much for
Yeah,
telling me what to do with my money. Like, thanks. You get every game for free, but you keep telling me what I should buy, please.
yeah,
Anyway,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
No, I
They
hear
haven't
you though. I
right
hear
there.
you. Like you say, you are contributing to the issue if you are buying. I'm not buying it from scalpers,
Thing is
so
though, if you don't buy it, someone else will. So.
well, quite.
And there's also that possibility of someone lying that they even have it and then sending you a bit of paper with a printout of the bloody console on it. It's happened before. It's happened way too many times before.
So Jay, shall we end the show with a bit of guess who's review?
Sure, I'm guessing, right? And you're saying it, I think, from what I
Correct.
remember.
Mundo.
Let's have a look. So the score at the minute, I think, is 21-21. Yeah.
Oh my word. Okay. I have gone fairly difficult, I think.
Okay. So last week you guessed Batman Arkham City from me, didn't you?
Yes, that was a hard one, but it was a good
Okay.
one. Bit hard.
Try
Yeah.
and remember what was before that. I think it was Borderlands or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. Or yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I need to start writing in your ones because I'm gonna just forget at this point, aren't I?
I should be doing that, but I'm not.
Yeah, I've
All
got all
right,
mine
Jay.
written down, just
Are
not
you
yours.
ready? Do you feel ready? Are you prepared? Is your mind
About as much as I'll
doing
ever be. I
paces?
don't know. Let's go.
Okay. Here's your orange sherbet.
Sherbet.
All right. Quote number one. The little touches go a long way toward combat's exquisite feel. In addition to bringing a bit of visual spectacle, the on-screen HUD is minimalist, and the camera always stays really tight so you can get an up-close view of the action.
That's very vague.
Yes, it is.
I need to hear
Let
that one
me
more
know that if
time.
Jay gets this, I'm walking out.
I need to hear that one more time. Go on.
The little touches go a long way toward combat's exquisite feel, in addition to bringing a bit of visual spectacle. The on screen HUD is minimalist, and the camera always stays really tight so you can get an up close view of the action.
I feel like I should get this.
Okay,
I think the fact that you said minimalist HUD says a lot.
okay.
Hang on, okay, I'm gonna make a guess, but it's probably wrong.
Okay.
Is it one of the Dead Spaces?
No.
Okay, that's a good. I mean, there's no HUD, right?
No. Can't
The
argue
HUD,
with
the
that.
HUD is literally just his back. So even though I've actually done Dead Space before, I wanted to guess it anyway, just in case you'd forgotten. So,
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
all right, okay, that's
Okay.
one. Right, yeah, to the next.
Quote number 2.
2 points or one. Here we go.
My favorite thing about exploration, though, sorry, I've cut these out. So let me hold on. No, my favorite thing about exploration, and something that I especially appreciate as someone who's not typically big on collectibles, is that every major collectible has both a worthwhile reward and a funny mini challenge tied to it.
Damn you, you bastard!
You think you got it?
No. Right,
Oh,
what collectibles have a mini game tied to them to be able to collect them?
I'll be generous here. It's not a mini game per se, but it's a mini challenge in that.
Oh, I know what it is, but you're an asshole because I'm sure we've done this before.
Have we?
Hang on.
Have we?
No, 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 we haven't. But I almost did do it once. Okay, is it? Hang on, I need to make sure.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, right. Okay, is it Fallen Order?
No.
Damn,
Yo! Though very
because there are
on the right
puzzles in
lines.
that, but I can't
On the
remember it.
right lines. Minimalist HUD. Yeah, no, fair play.
That was a good guess.
It was a very good guess.
Okay, okay, 1 point
Have
or
we done
nothing,
that
I guess.
before, Jay?
No, we did Force Unleashed,
Ah, yes. Okay.
but no Fallen Order because I
Okay.
think it was too recent, so I didn't bother.
Okay. Fair
I
enough.
think you might have done it for me before potentially.
Okay. That
I
that
can't.
that makes sense. I think I might have actually. Now that
Yeah,
I think
probably.
about
I
it,
think you did. I think you did.
because I recently played it, mate. How can we just? How good's that game?
Amazing. It's
You remember when
annoying how amazing it is.
you were like, Nick, you need to play that, and I was like, no, I know. It's like, no, Nick, you need to play
If you
that.
like
You need
Star
to play it.
Wars, like it is canon technically as well. Like it's
Yeah.
part of the actual main story. It exists in that universe.
Would you ever be interested in watching me play a single player game? No, I don't mean streaming. I just mean like, you can do this thing on PS4 where you watch
Yeah,
someone
where
else.
you watch someone. Yeah, no, I would. I'd like to see what your style of play. I'd probably get very frustrated at you.
Yeah, no doubt.
To be
Because I
like,
would love to
can you just
see
do
you.
it like this, please?
I can't see the
I used to get
screen.
very angry watching people play games sometimes. Just like, why are
Yeah,
you not doing it the way I usually do it? But
well, they go way too far.
I've probably grown up past that, so we'll see. Right, go on to the last one because I've obviously wasted my bloody
Okay,
guesses so
I,
far.
I'd watch
I'm not
you.
going to get this. This is very vague so far.
I think you will. I'd watch you, by the way, for sure.
Okay,
But
cool.
you'd be going so quick. I'd be like, Jay, stop speed running.
No, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably just be like, I'd get distracted probably a lot. I don't know.
Okay, last quote. Oh, you're gonna hate me for this.
Probably
This
us.
is an extraordinary open world action adventure game that solves several issues that have long gone unaddressed in the genre, while also just being an all around samurai slashing good time.
Really? Did you just do that? No, you can't. Is it just Ghost of Tsushima?
It is Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay. I feel like that was too obvious, but alright, I'll give it to you. Right, 22 to 21 for me.
Now, I know that was
Not bad,
hard,
not
but
bad,
if
not
you look
bad.
back at the quotes, I don't think it
Yes,
was that
it makes sense. It makes sense. Try to remember
cool.
if I'd done it already. No, I haven't. Okay, it's fine.
Mark, feel free to chime in if that was too unfair, but don't take the biased view of your son.
No, I don't think that was. That was fine. I like that. That was good.
Cool,
I mean,
cool.
when you say samurai, it just makes it obvious, isn't it? I'm trying to think if there's actually any. I mean, there's plenty of other samurai games, but none that I think I've played that much. So I've already got next time's ready for you, so I've got to make sure I prepare for future weeks ahead. But we'll see.
So just let the audience know, Jay, that you know what? I don't like audience. Let's say the people listening, that obviously the show's been a little bit whiffly waffly over the last few weeks. Why are you looking at me like that for?
I don't know. I'm just pulling a funny face.
All right. It's been whiffly waffly over the last few weeks, but
Waffly
essentially
waffly.
we've recorded this episode, bonus episode, and and a special. So those will go up over the holiday break in different times, and hopefully we'll be back on normal schedule week commencing the 4th of January. And that
Pog.
is all. there anything else you'd
You
like
probably
to?
don't even get that reference, do you?
No. What was it?
Pog.
Oh,
Poggers.
is that Thor Ragnarok?
No, it's
Oh,
Twitch. Don't worry, it's a Twitch meme.
oh, get a life. Okay.